get everything up and running. So now that we Hey there, YouTubers. Yeah. Hey there, YouTubers. Okay, yeah. Here we go. Now today, I actually got tweeted something about. Now today, it was about the new protest movement that's actually going on for Bernie Sanders. I signed up to be a coordinator, actually, and I think it would actually be a good thing to, I don't know, maybe do it with my time. So I should be hearing back from them very soon. I think this is a good opportunity to actually build up a new Democratic Party, as it's clearly lost its way with corporate money. My buddy Skaz, who I also showed this over to, he's posted about it. And by the way, you should also check out his channel here on YouTube. He makes some pretty damn good music. Anyway, yeah. I'll leave that to sort of a side note. Yeah, anyway, hang on. Let me just let you guys know that I'm doing this. I'm going to post it over to Facebook and to Twitter and Google Plus, and you'll be able to find me. So, without further ado, come on up here and we can talk, we can chat. I'll be happy to answer some of your questions as best I can. And we'll have to leave it at that because it's going to take all of us to try to do. Now, what I'm going to be making sure to also let you know is that we are up against a very well-funded machine from the Clintons. They are very, very powerful, but while they have money on their side, we have the people. And that is always a good thing to have around, especially when you know offhand that there's going to be a lot of attempts to try to confuse us. And trust me, she is no better than the Republicans. This is a very desperate time for all of us, and desperate times sometimes call for very drastic action. I honestly do not plan to vote for Hillary. I have my reasons. I have explained it very thoroughly within my blog. I've also said that on Daily Kos. I think for making the reason why I don't think that Hillary, at least I think I did. If I didn't, I'll make some other case for it. I think just having it on my blog is pretty much good enough. But yeah, you'll see me make all kinds of notes about that on Twitter and on Facebook. And you will occasionally see me do that on Google Plus. The real problem that I have is that who knows when we are going to be dealing with with some other form of corruption coming out of them, because you never know what the Clintons are up to at all. And it's always it makes things very difficult to try to defend when you know the other side, if they're playing anything, if they throw something at her, a lot of times it could actually end up being factually true. So that's why, for me, it's very difficult to back someone like that. I just can't do that. Now, whether or not you plan to vote for Hillary is entirely up to you. But I'm strongly going to urge against it for one reason. And for the young ladies out there, I want you to listen to me very carefully. Don't let Hillary guilt trip you on the basis of gender. Think for yourself and make your own informed choice. It would be lovely to have a woman as a president. I am all for that. I would love to see a woman as president, but Hillary is not the right person. Just like Bill, Hillary has too many screws loose. And the last thing this country needs is another political dynasty. There's too much at stake. With the Republican Party this radicalized, you can't really, let's just say that you can't exactly have an easy time defending all the rights and the progress that we've been making over the past century. That's what we're up against. Even if you don't join me on you're on YouTube, that's okay. I would at least love it if you guys could actually share this, because it would make things so much easier for everyone else. One of the reasons that I'm having a very hard time believing anything Hillary says is that you don't know the exact kind of damage that she's actually capable of doing. You don't always know what she's planning to do. And that is a big problem. So far, I haven't heard any specifics from her. The only one that's been giving me specifics as to why he thinks is right is Bernie Sanders. I haven't heard any kind of specifics coming out of Donald Trump or Ted Cruz. Well, no, I kind of know what Ted Cruz wants to do, but the problem is Ted Cruz is kind of a moron, so can't really vote for him. John Kasich, the problem that I have with him is that he's doing too much to try to pander to the far right. The only sensible choice that the Republicans have at this point is Donald Trump, as much as they don't want to nominate him. But I'll get into that in another video. I'm not going to do it here on the live stream. It'll take too much time, and it'll make things just that much crazier. Especially when you know offhand what the Republicans, again, now that you have the Republicans who really want to start another race war, which in my eyes is actually very dangerous. This is not the this is the 21st century. It's not the 20th century or the late 19th century, which was all about only about trying to make sure that they could prove how much superior the white race was to basically everyone else. We don't exactly need that. It's a completely let's just say it's one of the most idiotic ways to go. You just can't do things like that. First of all, it is completely and totally contrary to who we are as Americans. And it's not the values we espouse around the world. I mean, everybody tries to be somewhat like us. So why would we want to do something that jeopardizes our own values? It doesn't make any sense. That's the reason for this protest, is because the Democratic leadership is not seeming to get that. You can't continue onward with that. It's just if the Democratic establishment is not hearing us, then we need some way of getting their attention. If it means that we're going to end up voting for a third party, then so be it. Big money should not be dictating which way the Democrats go. It was their folly back in the 1890s, and it's going to be their folly today. We should be continuing on from the tradition from FDR. the reformation, basically the reforming of this country. I think that with Bernie Sanders at the helm, we could do a lot of good by, first of all, finally getting this healthcare system under control. Getting our education system back on track. Giving working people a voice in the economy. Getting someone to negotiate on everyone's behalf, preferably Medicare, with all these pharmaceutical companies. Now add in the government breaking up the big banks. It's just something that needs to get done. Now, I know offhand the neoliberals in the Democratic Party will declare that as being totally radical. It isn't. You have not only Bernie Sanders calling for it, or Elizabeth Warren for that matter, or all these progressive groups. You have two separate Federal Reserve branches in their heads. The heads of those branches, the two are in Dallas and Minneapolis, and they are outlining that we need to break up the big banks. Now, to say that it's Bernie Sanders, now for Bernie Sanders to say that the president has the authority to break up the big banks, and that whether or not that authority goes over to the Fed is completely and totally, first of all, that question is a false question. The Federal Reserve Bank is not the authority that breaks up banks. That's the Treasury Department. They have the authority to do it through the president. So does the Justice Department through antitrust laws. Second of all, you need government through Medicare to be negotiating with the drug companies. It's just the price gouging from the drug companies has gotten way too out of hand. So much so that we are basically paying about 3 times as much as the British do on medications. And we are paying about twice as much as the French. That is a big problem because that puts us at a massive competitive disadvantage. We can't do that. Anyway, I think I'm gonna cut it here only because it's getting to be almost 30 minutes in length. I don't know, maybe I could keep it on a few minutes longer. It doesn't really matter. You know what? Nah, I'll cut it here. Anyway, this is Jgsf1987 out. Yeah, this is just me making just a quick statement. Yeah, so just want to come and tell you to basically come and check this out. Look, this is JGSF 1987 again.